Couple finds buried box. Big shock after opening. Sometimes relationships are formed because of common interests. This definitely makes it easy to come up with a date since you have the same taste. Basically, however, there are countless hobbies. Everyone finds joy in different things, and often you have to compromise. If there's no overlap between two companies, then you just have to make a decision. Ryan and his girlfriend Lisa also had this situation. Ryan took Lisa to his hobby, and eventually she found great joy in it. Have you ever seen someone walking around with a metal detector and wondered what they might actually find? Ryan has a good answer because that was his biggest hobby. Lisa, his girlfriend, wasn't the biggest fan of it. Again and again, Ryan managed to motivate Lisa, and she would finally come on a hike with a metal detector. For years, Ryan's been trying to awaken Lisa's spirit of adventure because sometimes treasures can actually be unearthed. Although Lisa enjoyed the time in nature, she couldn't do anything with Ryan's hobby. She would much rather be listening to the birds and enjoying the sun than paying attention to the constant beeping. However, Ryan insisted. He knew he could change Lisa's mind. He decided to plan a long trip with the metal detector for both of them, and he would make sure that Lisa would never forget this day. Although Lisa would have liked to go running or do some activity in civilization, she decided to do Ryan a favor and go with her. Maybe once she gave in, he'd finally stop wanting to take her with him. On a cold April morning, they wrapped up warm and set off. As it was Lisa's first time, Ryan was particularly excited. He even insisted on bringing a camera to document the whole day. In the past, Lisa had accompanied Ryan, but always without holding a metal detector in her hand. This time was different, and Ryan's excitement soon rubbed off on his girlfriend too. Lisa was happy to be able to make her boyfriend so happy. The thought of actually finding something valuable was actually a motivation for Lisa. Wrapped in layers of clothing, metal detector in hand, and camera around their necks, they began to search. Everything went smoothly. They were wandering through the areas Ryan had searched in the past, so they wouldn't find anything here. But Ryan also knew where he hadn't looked and took them there. He was naturally hoping for something interesting that they could dig up together. It wasn't long before the sound of the metal detector rang out. They had obviously struck something, so Lisa would still experience her exciting partner adventure. Ryan was glad they got lucky and found something straight away. It was exciting digging in the ground to get the metal object out. The device had struck loudly, indicating that the item was there. Maybe they managed to find something really valuable. It didn't take long for Ryan to pull something small and round out of the ground. Unfortunately, it was only a button on a jacket. Since they lived in West Virginia, this happened more often. Ryan explained that this area had been traversed by soldiers during the Civil War, particularly in the 1800s, so there were many such finds lying around, so it wasn't anything special. This wasn't her only find, however. It wasn't long before the metal detector went off again, and this time Ryan found a coin that also appeared to be from the 1800s. This also aroused Lisa's interest. Old wartime artifacts were definitely interesting, and Ryan was sure they'd find more great items. On a tour he once did alone, he had found some Civil War artifacts. He mostly kept these things in his office, as they weren't rare enough to end up in his museum. Today, however, they seem particularly lucky, and maybe they'd also be able to sell the items at the end of the day. The couple was already quite excited after the first two finds. Although the value wasn't particularly high, Lisa now had to admit that she was having more fun than she originally thought she would. She was impressed that they were so successful so quickly, but this was far from the highlight of her day. Ryan asked Lisa to go further with him, and she happily agreed. Her interest steadily grew. Not much time passed and the metal detector sounded again. Smiling, Ryan began to dig. Lisa was so excited because this time it was she who found the treasure. Luckily, Ryan had the right gear with him, for this treasure lay more deeply hidden than the last two. Ryan was in his element and skillfully knew how to best salvage the treasure. He worked his way carefully with his shovel so as to not destroy the find. Ryan now realized that it had to be a larger object than the previous finds. The coin and button had been small. Now they seemed to be onto real treasure. Lisa was curious. What would they dig up in this area, and what else was there? She was amazed at how much fun she was having. It almost felt like a real treasure hunt. As a child, Lisa would have had a lot of fun with it. Ryan found that a larger rock lay between him and her find. In the meantime, Lisa dug out the camera and started to take pictures. Perhaps she would document an incredible find while he continued digging. Lisa kept the camera trained on Ryan, who had finally made his way in. Ryan began to come up with various theories as to what it could be. He was thinking of Civil War armor, a weapon, or some kind of breastplate. Neither Lisa nor Ryan could believe it when they finally dug the find out of the ground. It was the best discovery of her life so far. The couple knew they had to be careful as they pulled this box out of the ground. Lisa cautiously asked Ryan if it was safe to open the box, but Ryan seemed sure of it. It had occurred to Lisa that it might be some kind of explosive, but Ryan's curiosity was stronger. Of course, they wanted to know what was in the box. Lisa couldn't believe their luck and was even more amazed when they carefully tried to open the box. They'd already found a button and a coin. That was already more than they expected. Now she had no doubts about why Ryan loved this hobby so much. Despite her fears of dangerous objects, she now also wanted to know what was in the box. Ryan began to free the box from the damp earth. Lisa immediately discovered that the box had letters written on it. Lisa was sure that the writing was some kind of clue and they would find out what was inside. Ryan tried his best to decipher the words, but it was difficult. After a few tries, he deciphered this passage from Proverbs 18:22 in the Bible, and he began to read, "He who finds a good wife receives a favor from God." Lisa couldn't believe how fitting the saying was in their life together. Ryan was a man of God and had good knowledge of the Bible. He was a pastor and had read this passage many times. At this point, Lisa had completely lost her perspective. She'd never expected to discover such a big secret. Ryan opened the box with great confidence. When the lid snapped down, she saw that there were two names engraved on it. Lisa was speechless when she realized what the names were: Ryan and Lisa. Just what had they come across? Lisa was also hyperventilating. Ryan then took the contents out of the box, which shocked Lisa, and she caught her breath. Ryan now took a much smaller box out of the old box, and slowly Lisa realized what was going on. Ryan had staged all of this. Ryan had known where to find the box since he'd hidden it there himself a few days ago. This whole trip, the whole treasure hunt, was staged to ask Lisa a big question. Ryan was already on his knees anyway and asked Lisa if she would marry him. Lisa couldn't believe it. She had tears in her eyes, and the man she loved so much wanted to be with her forever. Ryan then took the camera from her hand to record her answer. How would she react once she found her words again? After processing the shock, Lisa met Ryan's eyes and asked, "Are you kidding?" Eventually, Lisa agreed, and Ryan caught everything on camera. After editing the video, he put it online. It spread like wildfire across the internet. Ryan's efforts didn't go unnoticed. It was an incredible event that could have gone wrong in so many ways. Ryan was delighted that Lisa had come along, found the box, and agreed to the proposal. Everything had a happy ending.